This is actually one of my favorite corners of the building. What do I do with my hands? Should we make a video about exterior building terms so people know the basics? From the step ladder and one spot over here, I could pretty much explain almost all of it. So the first term is cladding. It can be this weatherboard here, that's horizontal cladding. Cladding can also be this here, which is a vertical weatherboard. The best way to describe cladding is it's a skin, the final layer that protects your building and everything on the inside from the elements. So we have timber cladding, fiber cement, we can do brick, we can do metal, plaster, like we use iron down on the shed there. We recycled roofing sheets and use it on two sides of the little office down there. We've got timber weatherboard here, we've got a fiber cement vertical weatherboard here. This here is a scriber, not to be confused with subscriber, and if you haven't already, you should have clicked the subscribe button. So scriber is literally what it means. You put the board up and you scribe it with your pencil to every cut, and then you take it away and you cut it and you put it back. It forms a barrier between the edge of joinery or corners and seals everything up. So this is called a soffit. I'm not saying saw feet, I'm saying saw feet. So this is here, it's the underside of the roof. It would stop birds and stuff getting into your roof space. It would keep some of the breeze out. Often it's usually painted white here in New Zealand. So then we move around here and we've got the fascia. So the fascia is this board here on the edge of the roof. The roof framing is in here and the fascia forms the end of that. It goes to the underside of the roof, and it also is where the soffit butts into the fascia. The soffit slides into a groove on the fascia to form a nice tight seal. This is a timber fascia. We have switched to using metal fascia on the majority of our builds. We move around here now, we've got what's called spouting. Some people also call it guttering. And what it does is it collects the water from the roof and then it sends it to the downpipe. Now the downpipe is connected to the spouting and goes down, 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 down to the drains. Basically, all of the water catchment on the roof goes to the spouting, into the downpipe, into the stormwater. Here in Upper Hutt, it goes from the drains to the river out to the ocean. So here we've used a weatherboard and formed a seal. We've put a line of sealant between the weatherboard and the soffit. You may have heard the term scotia. Scotia goes up here in the corner and it's a quarter round profile that goes up there, or we also sometimes use an arch bead, or it can be called eaves mold. Some people would call this an eave. An eave is a part of the roof that hangs out over the building. More eaves around your building equals more protection from the elements as well. Basically on this build here, wherever there's timber weatherboard, there is a soffit or an overhang. Wherever there's vertical weatherboard, we've got no eaves or no soffits. Wherever you have a window or a door, it is called external joinery. And wherever you have external joinery, you will have a flashing. Flashings divert water and protect the elements. This is called a head flashing. Now the head flashing goes at the top of the door, under the weatherboard, and tucks up. And we tape that. Let's say we get a driving rain and it hits the wall. The water goes down onto the flashing and over. And see, the flashing, an important thing about this flashing is it's got a drip edge. Now the drip edge means that rather than the water getting sucked back in behind the door, it will drip down. And you'll see here we've got another form of flashing. We've got what's called a soaker. Now the soaker goes over wherever there's a weatherboard join, and it's one more barrier of protection. Yes, we could technically do the join with a miter without soakers. We've gone for it because we like the look, and also it's one more layer of protection. In here behind these two weatherboards we have what's called an internal corner flashing. On the internal it's folded behind the weatherboard. On the external, the weatherboards butt into it. We have a different form of external flashing over here. This is called corner soakers, and everywhere we've joined a weatherboard, you can get this clip of us putting this up, we've put a corner soaking, and we've also put silicone behind there, and that is again another layer of protection protection's important, guys. Another layer of protection against the element, because you've got a cut corner, you're then exposing the end grain of your weatherboard, and it's susceptible to soaking up moisture. By sealing that up, you create longevity in this corner here. This is a spa. So our roofs also have a couple of types of flashings. Here we have the weatherboard, the fascia, and this is what's called a barge flashing. The barge flashing goes up and then over at least 2 troughs. Again, see, this has got a drip edge. This is what's called a bird's mouth. Instead of the water getting sucked in with capillary action, it drips down. This is a deck. Last but not least, we have what's called facings. This is another way of forming a corner. Sometimes we can do what's called box corners, or we can do facings around a window. It's a very traditional look, but again, all of these things on the exterior are all based on keeping the outside out and the inside in. So the best way to think about all of these exterior items as they're the final layer protecting the inside of your home from the outside. Is keeping the cold, the wet, the rain, the wind out, and keeping the inside warm and dry and quiet, or cool in summer. So you want to use products that are going to stand the test of time, but that's another video on its own. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead, click subscribe, catch up with our other building terms